Good evening, folks. Bitcoin Owen here. The government in Ireland has introduced new laws basically to do with tenancies and rented property. They've made a rent pressure zone of the entire country. That is hard to get your head around, but the whole country is now just one big entire rent pressure zone. That's what I heard on the radio this morning basically. So if you're a landlord and you rent out property, you need to register with the government, and they look at you put down the rent that you're charging every year, charging the tenants every year, and they review each return basically to make sure that you are in line with the regulations. You can only increase the rent by a maximum of 2% per annum. It's the rate of inflation or 2%, whichever is lower. So the most you can increase the rent is 2%. If we were on a Bitcoin standard, if we were using Bitcoin today, we would not need these laws, because with Bitcoin, price falls, price of everything falls. With fiat, the price of everything goes up because they're constantly printing new euros at the ECB and the Bank of Ireland in Dublin. They're constantly printing new euros. That means the euro constantly loses value, loses purchasing power, and price goes up. Price of everything, right across the board, not just rent, but food, energy, clothes, education, everything goes up because they're pricing everything in euros instead of Bitcoin. If we were using Bitcoin, we would not have this problem. Prices would be going down instead of up for rented property. Rent would be falling basically if we were using the euro as our currency. And that is the state of play now when it comes to the Irish housing market. Things are only going to get worse now because there will be no investment. If there is no return from renting out property, there will be no investment. So the government is going to have to build all the houses, and it's going to get even worse because the government doesn't have that kind of money to spend on housing. They're going to have to cut back from other sources of expenditure basically to make room for new houses to give to people who can't afford houses.